Welcome back to the Long and Thick podcast, where your two empty human husk co-hosts navigate the noise and cut through the bullshit in the health and wellness space. We're on episode 17.
We're on episode 17. We slithered our way back to the studio.
Crawled out of the abyss of gaseous form and no mortality. We're getting there. Yeah, we're slowly coalescing back into humans.
Yeah, we're sort of speaking life back into each other. I feel my all the good things, the vitality coming back into me. So it's just a testament of friendship.
Yes, I love you being inside me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we did before this. Anyway, what are we getting into here?
We are getting into, unfortunately, the toxicity of the internet.
Okay.
Also known, you said affectionately, don't be a fuck.
Yes, that is the title of the episode.
Yeah, we are approaching this really weird paradigm where the internet, I feel, is mostly bad. It could be a marvel of engineering. It could be a marvel of shared information, a way of elevating intellects, harmony, elevating everyone's experience. But I feel like it's going woefully in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And that could be a very large overarching statement, but even truncating it down to health, wellness, fitness, longevity.
Yep.
It is a circus. It is a shit show. And it, I think, is at some point, if it's not already harming the tipping the scales, majority to minority, if it's hurting more people than it's helping, it would not be surprising to me.
Yeah.
And that's really shitty to think about.
It is a bummer.
Also why we do this, to try to have our tiny little push in the opposite direction.
Yes.
But
yeah, some positive influence and flux into trying to push things in a more positive light. There is a growing normal human phenomenon of drawing attention via hypercriticism, slandering other people's names, their processes, their clientele, their style of training. I mean, you name it, somebody has an opinion that is like, hey, that shit sucks what you're doing. And I'm going to let you know about it. And I'm going to let all the people that I have built a community with rally alongside me.
Yeah. And it's just seemingly a complete lack of tact and couth with how any number of these people approach that divisive barrier, if you will. It's not having a discourse or having a conversation of, hey, you do things differently. Can you at least explain to me why you do that? Can you help me understand?
Right.
I might not get there myself.
Sure.
That might never be something for me, but why are you approaching it that way?
Right.
Rather than like, oh, that looks fucking lame, you fucking idiot, which is pretty much what the internet is now. Or, oh, why are you doing that? My way's better because I listen to so-and-so. When a lot of this has no academic bearing whatsoever. And that's not to say that I'm sure you or I, several uncountable times over the course of our experience in fitness, lifting, all that, that we probably looked at a North Star that we trusted, or at least, hey, they got results, and maybe parroted a little bit of information.
100%.
And it's like, oh, and maybe to the next person, like that kind of ugly game of telephone.
Yes.
Where it's just like, oh, well, that works for that person. That has to work across the board. I'm going to then, but you mature, or you should, and really look inward and really reassess the value. And do you actually care about just saying something, or do you care about saying something correct?
Yeah.
And I feel like the former is where everybody lives right now. They just want to say something. They just want to have what they say on record somewhere, and to then see immediate reflection and attention and response to it, good, bad, otherwise. And that just, feeds the beast. And it's really tough because we are trying to advance knowledge the best that we can.
Right.
And we still fight that on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. And we'll get it wrong or admire somebody who's wrong. But I recently saw, I forget the scientist's name. He does a really beautiful lecture talking about how like time travel is real right now. In front of his audience, he's explaining like light refraction and just like some deep stuff that we don't need to get into with quantum mechanics and whatever. But he recently shared, he's like, you should be celebrating when you get it wrong, because it means that you're growing in some way, shape, or form. And the, information that is evolving as we learn more, have better technology to, pick things apart in deeper fashion, really should like let us have a better understanding and not hold on so tightly to like these ideals that become cornerstones of our identity more than they are about the actual thing you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a nice segue too, because we talk about tribalism all the time and crazy polarity that happens, that you align yourself with a person, an idea, or a philosophy, and that is just it. You know, it is, going down to the simplest thing close to me is, you know, the high volume, low volume, how do you program philosophy? And well, these greats did it this way. Well, yes, but science says this way. And it's just crazy combative. Missiles are constantly in the air. And there's a lot of nuance to that, like with everything. But rather than just trying to understand the other person, or at least have invite the conversation, like, okay, I prefer this way. Why does that work for you? Have you seen results? And I think that's the other thing, is no one cares about what the results are. No one cares about running the experiment, which we've talked before. It takes a long time.
It does.
You know, put 2 to 4 months on something diligently and see if it works. Does it work? Are you getting value out of it? Are you seeing positive change? No. Okay, scrap it. Try the next thing. It's always going to be an experiment, but no one's doing that. Everyone on the internet now, whether it be mostly veteran or new people entering the space, everyone's looking for the silver bullet thing. And then that unfortunately leaves room for people to at least exalt themselves in a diluted way over other people. They have a more influential voice, a more charismatic, confident place in the world to say that, oh, well, I have the silver bullet. Case in point, no one has a silver bullet. No one. There's fucking nuance everywhere.
Don't exist, right?
But they can convince a number of people, and then that just grows organically or inorganically from there. And then you have an entire faction of people willing to go to bat against another faction of people that maybe have a different training style, philosophy, health-mindedness. And it's just that constant game of command and conquer on the internet, which no one cares about helping each other. They just care about
of the entire
not even being right. They're just hoping that they can batter someone else into submission to at least
gain points within their own crew.
It's trash.
It is. It's a huge bummer. I mean, you look at, I wouldn't even call it, it is an extreme, but it could be worse. Like with stuff with like Jeff Nippard, right? In that gym, like getting punched or grabbed in the throat or whatever happened. Like
that's crazy.
Over just like, I'm evidence-based. Well, I'm strong and you're not. And so like, who's right? And it's just, exactly. All of that just draws people into thinking less and less. And it's not, like you said, about the community or even the outcome or the whole purpose of being better, growing, becoming stronger, faster, healthier. It's gaining points within your crew, and like climbing the ranks within that space, so to speak.
Getting on a higher rung of the, experience ladder, the skill
imaginary
tree.
one.
For sure. It's this really weird game that you think you're surmounting just by having more people follow you. And it's tough. And not to say that having a larger audience and culture around you is a bad thing.
It's not.
It could potentially be a great thing.
Sure.
But no, there's not that many people wielding it in the right way. And that's what's tough. And, if you're out there and you're fighting the good fight, we're not coming after you that way.
Of course not.
But there's a vast majority of people that are never checking in of like, am I doing the best for other people? Am I using my voice for the best positive change, or are we using it just to line our pockets?
I think too, the person who's at the highest rung on that totem pole then is further and further entrenched in like this, I cannot possibly be seen as like being wrong, because God forbid that all of my people that look up to me and admire me see me as anything less than this like shining beacon of answers. And, I'm sure that there are people that use their platform in ways that are like, this person called me out and they speak to the correction. We just don't see a lot of it, unfortunately, because it makes sense. It's not that surprising.
There's not a lot of self-reflection, and being wrong is okay.
It's vital.
Like it's you need pressure and friction to make sure you're still kind of going in the right direction. And there are plenty of people that have it very much right, and they lean out there and it's like, hey, listen, this is what the actual science says. It's validated across all of this, multiple studies
from the best that we know today.
Correct. And then like, well, but this person who did whatever doesn't do that. It's like, okay, we're starting to get anecdotal now. Like we were talking about the science and it doesn't matter. It's just like spit in the face of.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a cultural paradigm shift of, we were talking about this a little bit ago, like the structural change of communities and how the phone and internet have bridged people from Japan and Indonesia and Kentucky together in a group that they talk, maybe in different time zones, but like they're part of the same crew. And normally they would never be. And that one link that they have in common is so vital to their personality, who they are, how people see them, like how they understand themselves. Right. And so it makes sense that there's this huge defensive backlash when that gets attacked, because it's not attacking like, hey, your hypertrophy method is like a little bit worse than mine. It's like you are bad. Yeah. You are wrong. And it feels like they have now become so interwoven with the ideology that it's, again, you just lose the point. What do you think is like one of the most potent combatants to this stuff? Like how do we actively create pushback while we're doing a version of the same thing? And by the way, for the people watching, you get extra points because you get to see that I have orange glasses on, which means that I'm a wellness grifter and I know absolutely every single thing underneath the sun. So anything I say is Bible. Anyway.
That's why I sit around with Ron, because he has converted me. I trust everything he says as gospel.
That's right.
And it's fantastic. So fuck you if you don't believe that.
What like, how do we do a good job of not fueling the fire of attacking and just like having good actions that push back and still get the point across of creating change? And
well, I think for people that it's a better hope for people that are just entering the space a little bit, because they're going to get their teeth kicked in by every ad and AI pushed whatever. And it's all of these crazy cut together videos that we also have to utilize ourselves to play the game. But anyone coming into this space, they're like, what is this? It's just chaos. It's just fucking this all the time. Marinara, I just want one answer for one small little quandary in my life. And 40 million people have a conflictory answer, or maybe they all have the same answer to a degree, but everyone's telling that the other one's wrong and theirs is better. It's just like, fuck. So, I think the best way I don't know if there's a way to enact large scale change on the internet. It's the cynic in me kind of feels like that battle's already lost.
I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah. I think anthropologically we are at a really unfortunate precipice that we're about to fall over, to where the quality of information and the people utilizing misinformation or just being too ignorant to even find information, just want to say stuff. That is just going to continue to sprawl and cannibalize good content. I think we're just now in the AI age where so many things get automated and pushed through, and crazy amounts of content to scale. It's too much. It's too much. And it's a really weird information battle for no real value other than to make people money and not help people. So contrary to what we're talking about, I don't think that battle is best served on the internet. It's served in person. Is do what little you can to try to inspire people. And it's not easy to trust anyone over the internet.
Right.
But your character in person, in a couple short interactions, minutes or hours at a time, people know if you're legit or not. Or if you have their best interest in mind, if you're intuitive, if you're empathetic,
right.
You have to have copy, script, all kinds of bullshit to come across as knowledgeable on the internet, or say the right algorithmic hook and, switch and sell thing where I don't think it can be won on the internet. I think those days are gone.
Yeah. I think the difficulty is when you think about time, right? And the access that people may or may not have, and I will say probably don't have, the problem that they have is being met through finding a quick solution on TikTok, how to fix runner's knee. And then they have a bunch of things. They find one that they sort of like, they try it, maybe it works, whatever. Cool. They didn't spend any money. They spent some time. So when they don't have the luxury of spending money and time with someone like ourselves or other providers in whatever way, shape, or form. I mean, this is true for any doctor appointment. Like, I think it's, you really need to be your own advocacy promoter, right? Like, and put on that critical thinking, but curious hat instead of like the hyper cynical, everything is wrong. And I'm like aggressively pushing back against the man in the system, right? Cause that leads to all other kinds of extreme avoidance and things. And you just become this like conspiracy minded wackadoo. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think we all are seeing as people the fallout that happens from tech and engagement online. I mean, look at developmentally kids in school, like attention spans, test scores, like our brains were like, oh, a sun, oh, a plant, good, water, good, sleep. You know what I mean? Like that's what we can do. And so now we're bombarded with, like you said, information that is so just like sharp in how it can cut right into your mind and your attention span. It's hard to even combat that.
Yeah. It's strategically designed to ensnare your psyche and make you want more. And it's crazy. And that's not to say too, obviously we are going to stay on the internet. We are going to put our best foot forward to try to, you know, expound on what has worked for us and worked well for our clients to help others. But just know it's such an uphill battle because there are going to be monumental amounts of other noise cascading from every direction to compete with us, to compete against us, you know, to just thwart anyone from having a voice other than their own. So we're still going to put it out there and we're still going to try to build our platforms to help. But just to answer your question, I think the best case scenario is just starting one-on-one organically and talking to someone. It's like, this is what your health means. Like, get yourself in a vacuum. Let's just talk about the basics, the non-negotiables, movement, mostly whole foods, a little bit of resistance training, you know, a little bit extra water, a little bit extra sleep.
Hang out with your friends.
Have good community, see the sun.
Do stuff you like that makes you happy, right?
Yes, that's it.
Yep.
And you don't need all of these other crazy 3-month challenges and all this other stuff. Like you don't. You just need a couple good habits and you need to keep them for a very long time.
Just make them part of you.
Yeah, I think the winning recipe is you and I. Yes, we do this. We at least inspires a conversation, but we're starting with just helping people in person and just try to get them to focus without being just assaulted from every direction. And letting them see the benefits of it themselves. They are the case study. They get to put in the work and see what does and doesn't work. And then move from there. And then they may talk to friends, family, and just have that be the better network of change.
Where it doesn't all point back to the head person that got them there in the first place.
And for sure. And that's not like, we are not also trying to enlist all these people to spread our name, which is like, oh, Daniel and Ronnie did this and blah, blah. Like, no. You help yourself and you help someone else. You can be that person. As long as you do it with the good intention of making their life better.
Right.
But unfortunately, that doesn't happen on the internet because people would rather just find something, either not understand it, not appreciate it, and just shit all over it, which is getting very tiresome.
It is. It's really, really old. And it makes me it's like anxiety to open the phone and see what other things are there. And even when I think about putting out my own stuff, like I am riddled with self-doubt. I mean, and I know my stuff pretty well. And to think about like, man, I don't even know what to start to talk about because it feels so inauthentic or unauthentic, whatever, fucking both of them.
Well, it's posturing and performative because you have to still shape it to
be digestible,
and also compete in the lanes of how the algorithm works and how they tell you people consume content because their algorithm has been training people to consume content that way.
Right. But that's not how an hour session with me goes.
No.
It's horrible. I mean, this morning I had a patient that I saw and it was a slog of just trying to get little things to connect. And like, that took like 90 minutes of like just starting to make a dent in the overarching stuff that we have to still continue to work on. So I feel like both of us know better at this point. And even as we're talking about this, I'm thinking about accounts that I really like that have 1 million or 800,000 or whatever, these vast followings that I do think provide value, do good things. I think the people running them like do have good intentions, all that kind of stuff. And to be fully transparent, like, I don't think I want that. I don't know that I believe that the quality can stay at a high enough level just from like a human exchange standpoint that I want my name on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's tough. And I'm sure you can agree too. I also follow the same things, and you've seen them have to change their tactics.
Yeah.
To stay relevant in that. Not that what they're saying is not relevant,
right?
That the industry or the academia has changed. It's so just the exact same relevant, but how they execute and share is so much more blasted, cut down, just like these, like you said, very pointy, very sharp, to try to keep your attention for now that we've been whittled down to 15-second intervals.
Right.
And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's just, there's too many people in the space, too many bad actors also in the space.
Right.
And everyone is now paying the price.
Yeah.
Everyone is losing more attention. They are having to spend more time navigating, finding stuff of actual value and actually is helpful, other than just combing through the same things over and over and over again, just for people trying to sell something.
Yep. Saving videos that you're never going to revisit. Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't actually move the needle forward for you pretty much at all.
So
yeah,
stuff.
It is. What else we got on our little powwow list?
I mean, that kind of covers a good amount of it.
Any other little nuggets of like thought-provoking things we can dive into that come to mind?
Yeah. I mean, it's just be a good person.
I like what you said about like somebody having change happen and work with somebody maybe that, you know, they use one of us to get the ball rolling and started. And a year later, they feel like they've got some good bearings and they've learned some good habits and they've learned what they don't like, learned even training styles that they're like, hey, when we do X, Y, Z, like it doesn't really work very well for me, like at the time, yada, yada, whatever. And then they can just take that personalized version of their experience and give those gold nuggets, the core sort of fundamental truths to other people that they want to help, you know?
Yeah. I think that's a good call out too. And I've had this conversation with clients, and I try to be as transparent as possible that like, I am not trying to gatekeep you to me. I am not stingy with the knowledge. It's not sorcery. I mean, clearly the game plan is really very simply laid out in the beginning. Now, does it help me to be there, to help them with form, to know how to scale, to know how to find proper intensity, just to be a good hang?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But some people will be like, well, what if I go on vacation or they go on vacation or God forbid someone moves? Well, what am I going to do? The same stuff that we have been doing, like the roadmap's there.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't need me.
Right. For sure. And I think that is another thing too, that people think they need to retain their clients forever. And I think if you are intending to do that, that's manipulative and not in that client's best interest.
Damn. That's serious. Yeah.
You know, granted, the exchange is awesome. I'm not saying that I want anyone out of my life quicker than they need to be.
Of course not.
By any means, I love my people.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to think that they are lost without me. If they feel like they're lost without me, I'm fucking up.
Damn.
Like straight up.
I agree. I mean, I feel the same way when I have conversations with people coming in. I mean, even in massage school, you learn, we practice the, some of the like exchanges that you have, like, just getting used to talking to somebody for the first time that's new. Hey, what's going on? Whatever you're walking through, yada, yada thing. And then you also practice the like, hey, let's follow up in this time. And there is validity to that for you. I mean, and most people that are more exclusively just training, no one's going to come in and I mean, you've had like a good handful of one-offs just because you're like well known in the community, especially. Then like other trainers being like, hey, can you watch me deadlift? Can I have a session with you and like see if we can just like
100%.
like highlight some stuff and like elevate some points and just like, again, a space for growth. I mean, we've done that, right? Like for both ways. Like, hey, try this like little tweak here. And it's like, oh, wow, that was I can't tell you how many times I'm cueing people with that band pullback to find like a deep lat or like, right? It's just like those little things are so invaluable and golden, and you really do only get them in a way that lasts and sticks with like person to person exchange. But again, going back to what I was saying, like the heart of my job is to get you the fuck out. And then like, if something comes up, then you come back and we get it, you know, sorted and whatever, or you send your wife or boss or whoever that you really trust. And, you know, cause we got the results, but you're right. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm the way that your left oblique turns on. Like, no, you're your own solution. We're just like part of the roadmap and stepping stones to help you create more of a fulfilled and deep understanding within yourself of your capabilities, your lifestyle shifts, your all of those things. So yeah, that's good
and
stuff.
I think that's probably, it spits in the face of most people's, you know, entrepreneurial view of what we do.
Sure.
You know, there's always more clients, but I still, yes, I have people that have worked with me for literal years at a virtual level. Yeah. And that's not to say that they're inept, but they may have varying goals that shift quickly. You know, we have to adjust for compositional changes, lifestyle changes, new interests in lifting. Yep. And, you know, they like having access to me on if they're constantly changing their mind a lot. And like, what if we do this? What if we do this? Yeah. So I am a resource in that respect.
100%.
But all of these people are gaining knowledge. It doesn't go away when we stop working together. So like I hope that the lessons are lasting, that the habitual change, it sticks for the long haul, for as much of a lifetime as we can get out of it. Yeah. So I think that's another toxicity of the internet, is when people are not looking at growing the person's mind along with their body, because they need to go on and help other people. They need to go influence their friends, their families, and help communities. Them. And like, cause I mean, America, it's not, take the internet out of the equation. America as a standing populace is also in terrible shape. Right. So as many good heads and hearts in the situation to help spread that message and start to get actionable change, then I think it's all for it.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And if someone's like, hey, listen, I got what I needed out of you, I can take this, I trust it. And cool. Loved working with you. It's been a pleasure, but
if you need anything, holler. But yeah,
that's good by me too. I'm not like feeling like some loyalty problem, like I'm being betrayed. Right. It's like, no, this is a transaction at the end of the day. That's right. I'm trying to help. Yep. And if they feel fully helped and they got what they got out of it, sayonara, man. Best wishes. Keep in touch.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
So, I mean, that's pretty much it. That covers all the bases in my opinion. Yeah. But just be good. Try to be a little bit more skeptical and try to find people that you think you can actually trust, and not just have a huge voice on the internet trying to sell you something. Yeah. And just try to put more good in the world that you take out of it, pretty much.
Yeah. And if you're in doubt, just buy orange glasses off Amazon, and then you'll know all truth and reality.
Yes. So. I mean, that's, it's like a moth to the flame. The gravitas is like anything you say.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Longman. Anything you need.
Right on. Well, until next time, folks.
Until next time on The Long and Thick.
Adios.